Hey, yo, this is Ced Talk Podcast, baby, and we are back with another one. Yes, we do have another guest. We have Miss Sara over here. What's going on, Sara?
Hi, Cedric. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Appreciate you for coming. She came through for me one time. But look, go ahead, Sara. Tell the people about yourself.
Well, 38 years old, mom, flight attendant, just trying to figure out life. Everyone
trying to figure out, right? Married, and you know, how long you been married for?
We will be coming up on our 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. We've been together for almost 12.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nothing better. I'll tell you that. Been married myself for 10 years. It'll be 11 years in July. You know, we got 4 beautiful children. So it's crazy.
It's wild.
You understand my life, understand your life.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, you're a flight attendant. I'm glad you was able to show up today because we're going to be talking about a little bit of everything, but we're going to get into something real deep, real powerful because Miss Sara here actually has a testimony. She has a message.
Yeah.
You know?
It's been a long road, but it's been a fun road. It's been crazy. I've been a flight attendant for 17 years. And started when I was 21 years old. I'd just been 21 years old for a month when I went to training, thrown in with all these like full adults. I did not feel like a full adult yet. Never lived out of my parents' house, didn't go to college, and just went down to training. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, but super excited, loved it. Like, flight attendant was my calling. From the second I was interviewed, I knew that's what I wanted to be. And I've done everything I could to keep this job and keep doing what I love.
That is awesome. If you don't mind, like, what is some of your experiences? So you started when you were 21 years old.
Oh my gosh.
21. I mean, that's the start of most people, prime time. Like,
yeah. Oh, okay. So when I got hired, I got based out in Baltimore. So my mom and I drove my little Toyota Corolla or Toyota Camry, cross country to Maryland. And I lived for the first time in my life out of my parents' house on a horse farm out in the country in Maryland, all by myself on the complete opposite side of the country from family, and kind of had a wild 2 years. I was 21 and I wanted to go out all the time. So the only thing I asked I was renting from a flight attendant who owned the house, and he had like a finished basement or whatever. So I said, where can you go out here in Maryland? I spent like 10 months going to a biker bar as a 21-year-old blonde Californian, hanging out with like bikers and rough country folk, and they were all like 20 years plus older than me. And it was wild. It was probably not the smartest move, but they took care of me. I became their like little sister, the little mascot of the bar. I mean, it's crazy because, I guess what we're talking about here today is like my road with drinking and how I got to the point where I decided to just give it up. And one of my first experiences out there was like I got really close to everyone at the bar, and the owner had a son who kind of ran it, and he was just like the cutest thing, and everyone was in love with him. And I said, why don't you let me bartend for you on my days off, and then I don't have to fly as much. I can make some money. And he said, Sara, I can't let you bartend. You're one of my best customers. 21-year-old. So that shows you how much I was spending my time out there. But most of the reason was I was lonely. Like I didn't, they became my little family, which is so sad. But that's kind of where like the heavy drinking started. Okay. I would say.
Okay. So you're saying drinking heavy, and this pretty much correlated when you were like working and stuff too, or like what was that like?
Yeah. Well, so it was both. It was like on my days off, I'd go to this bar, and then while I was working, I mean, this was like the college that I never went to. It was like skip the studying, head straight into sorority life. because it was like a party every time. I mean, we were serious about it. Like I never like pushed the limits with like being legal for work the next day or anything like that. But it was just, once you're done working, you get to your hotel. It's so easy. They hand you your key. You just sign your name off, and then your time is yours for the next 12 to 20 hours.
Yep.
And sometimes there's a ton of stuff to do in the cities, as you know, and sometimes there's nothing to do in the city. And, what's unique about our job is we go to work every week with strangers. Yep. Like, unless you really kind of gain some seniority and can make it to where you're flying with your friends, which fortunately I do now, but at the time it's like you're with somebody new every week, and sometimes you don't really click with them, but majority of the time, I mean, we have amazing people, so most of the time you become fast friends. Like in one day of work, you're like, everything about each other, and you want to party and you want to celebrate.
Absolutely. It's crazy because I was scrolling one day on TikTok. I guess I was trying to learn some of these little TikTok dances. Nah.
You'll never see me doing that on TikTok.
But I stumbled across Sara's page. You guys check it out. What's your TikTok handle?
Ramblin' Reader is, or I guess, I don't know. I'm so new to it. I don't know if it's at Silly Millie or if it's Ramblin' Reader.
It's definitely Ramblin' Reader.
Ramblin' Reader is like my name on there. Okay.
Yeah. And so check that out. So I'm scrolling and I stumbled across Sara's page. And as I was looking, she was speaking regarding drinking alcohol, how she was overcome and the things that she has been through just being intoxicated and stuff like that, and how it could affect, being present at home or children time, right, marriage and things like that. It was crazy because we met because of work, right? I'm a flight attendant, as you guys know, and we met in Maui. And so I was connected to the story because, right, we was all having fun. Just like she mentioned, you can meet a person one day and then just kind of know everything. And so we all went out and met. And I love that hotel too, by the way. Like, it's just the whole setup is perfect. You got the pool that's facing, the ocean and things like that. So we ended up with 12, 14 of us?
Yeah, there was three crews that kind of found each other, like through the pool, or, I know so-and-so. Like, we weren't even staying at that hotel, but we met up with people that so-and-so knew. And so we left our hotel because the pool wasn't as good. And so we go over to that one really nice hotel. And then we just, instant click. I mean, it's like, we didn't even work. had never met those people before, but we clicked instantly.
And that's the vibe that we have as flight attendants. And so I want you guys to really picture this. So we're all out, we're having a good time. And I remember the pilot, he came down last. Pilot comes down and he was like, yo, I got a plan. Let's go to happy hour. Let's get some food, discounted food and, just everything. And some drinks and stuff like that. The Mai Tais.
We had to go to a specific place because they had the best Mai Tais. But what's crazy about that captain, and I've actually run into a couple of times.
You have? I was looking for him.
Oh my gosh,
too.
He's so sweet. He, that day, like I said, me and Cedric hadn't flown with him at all. And he said, all right, we're all going down to the ABC store, I guess they call it.
We're
going
down
to the ABC. And he gets a basket and he says, put whatever you want in the basket. And he buys everything. And of course, I throw my second bottle of wine because I had already downed the first one from 11 a.m. I mean, this was probably 2 or 3, maybe. I don't even know. We'd had lunch at some point in there before we'd even met with them and had Mai Tais. Then we went back to the pool. Yeah. And then, that's where we met up with him and did the ABC store.
Crazy. So after happy hour, we go down to the ABC store to refuel, right? Because the plan was all of us, 12, 14 of us, we're going to watch the sunset. We're right there on the beach. And it was just awesome. It was just amazing time, right? And so we're thinking, okay, it's over. This was a good day. Captain's like, yo, let's go to the restaurant up the street. Let's go to Monkey Pod. I was like, dang. So we're like, man, so we had a full day. So now we're walking all the way back up to the top. We go to this restaurant and they have some good Mai Tais.
Did we order maybe one of everything on the menu. Like
Probably.
there was so much food. I couldn't fit one more thing, and like not a drink, not a nacho. Like you looked at me across the table and you said, "You're done, aren't you?" And I'm like, "I gotta go."
And that's so great.
That was the best thing I could say. Or thank goodness, the one thing about my drinking was that I could always I always had the peace of mind to like, okay, I'm done, and like get myself to my hotel room. Like I trained myself from 21 years old to be able to get myself to my hotel room safely and soundly. I mean, we all walked back together. It was safe, but
and that's the thing though. I want you guys to really pay attention to that and understand what has been said and what's going on. So like we're all having a good time, and it's literally like I looked across the table just like Sarah said. I'm like, and I was like, I don't know.
My head's bobbing. Like,
she's trying to like kind of keep her head up. I'm like, Sarah, you're done, right? She was like, I said, hey, it's time to go right now. But this is why when I was scrolling on TikTok, this is why it connected with me personally, is because, yes, we all were drinking all day, right? But later on, right, you meet flight attendants and then you never see them again. You don't fly with them for years later sometimes. And I saw Sarah on the shuttle. This was probably 2 years after the trip. I saw her on the shuttle and I was like, oh, what's up, Sarah? Catching up. But it's crazy how technology works. Like, I guess my phone hears me say Sarah, and I kid you not, I go to my car and then I scroll on TikTok and I see Sarah. And so she's telling us this story, how she had to recover, but I'm not going to tell her story. But the story of that touched my heart, and I had to call her and was like, we have to sit down and we have to talk about it. But if you don't mind, Sarah, just kind of explaining what transpired after that trip.
Yeah.
But then just kind of getting into deeper your thoughts and how did you get to that point of just drinking and
Yeah. So at the point that we met up in Hawaii, my husband and my two kids, I have two boys, we had all just moved back to California, to my hometown, to be near my parents from Nashville. And so we were going through a lot. Both my boys were born in Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, we all are friends. We had made a great life there, and I did not want to leave on a personal level. I would say I had mostly friends. It was more of my thing than my husband's. I mean, he was really excited to get closer to family and all that because he's from Australia, and so we have nobody on his side out here. So we had made the decision to move back to California. And so we moved back to my parents. We're in my hometown, and it's like a high school reunion basically. It's like I'm seeing people that I grew up with left and right, and that's taking an emotional toll on me in a way I didn't know either. And so we moved back to my parents. We're looking for a home to buy. We buy a condo. We'd moved from a 5-bedroom home in Nashville that we'd been renting to a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo that we bought. And basically our mortgage was like 2.5 times the amount of what we were paying in rent out in Nashville. And so our expenses were way up. We're trying to figure out this whole homeowning thing and the whole process. It's so stressful. It's like such a stressful process. And anyway, that gets squared away. We move in. It's cozy, my boys share a room, and it's totally fine. We love where we live, but I'm starting to see our savings dwindle. When we had so much before, even after buying it, we had like a good cushion to get some stuff done around the house that we wanted to do. Like initially, as soon as we moved in, like we wanted to do our bathroom and just getting stuff for the house. And little by little, I'm noticing our savings is dropping, and we're spenders. We're not like great with our money. I should probably talk to you about that too as well, because I know you do finance, but we're like terrible. So through that, my drinking is ramping up. Like I am usually I would I bring a bottle of wine usually for at least one of my overnights, just because like sometimes we get in, as a PMer or getting in late, like the bar is closed or whatever. And I did not want to be without some wine at the end of my night. So I mean, there would be times where we'd get in at 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm opening up a bottle of wine. Now we don't start until 5 p.m. the next day. So it's like plenty of time, but I'm like, what am I doing? Like start drinking a bottle of wine and opening my book at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like it was just like little piece by piece was starting to go like, Sarah, what are you doing? Like it was getting in my mind. This is not good for you. This is not right. So the holidays come and my husband and I were just like stressing. My older son has started kindergarten and it's not going great. And he seems very far behind. He's a summer birthday. And so he's younger. And so we're stressed about that. It was just a lot and everything was snowballing and I felt like I could not catch up. And so to relieve the stress, which is what we do, is we have a glass of wine at the end of the night or we like have our cocktail to like take the edge off, and not knowing that all along it's really causing more stress and causing more of a burden. The amount of money I was spending at this point on wine, because I don't like cheap bad wine anymore. I have to have my good wine. But like, Sarah, you can't afford good wine anymore. Like, Sarah, you can't afford, 5 bottles of wine a week. Sorry, not a night. That bad. So come like New Year's Eve, I was trying to be good. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna go out with my crew anymore. I'm just gonna like have my bottles of wine at home.
Real quick. So before you get to that point,
okay.
Like, what was it that actually clicked? Like, was it really bad? Like were you drinking a lot? Or like, what was the moment you say, I need to start changing a little bit?
It was New Year's Day. So it was actually after this overnight that I had. So New Year's Eve, I was like, we were in Seattle, had a great crew. But I was like, I told myself that day, I am not going to go out. I'm just going to have my bottle of wine, have a dinner with my crew, be a nice New Year's Eve, and then whatever, go to bed and fine. Of course, I have no self-control. As soon as I'm flying with somebody awesome, I'm like, yep, I'm in. Let's do it, whatever we're doing. So my coworker was like, I said, so are you doing anything fun tonight? And he's like, and he was so shy all day, like very quiet. Like I could not get a read on this guy at all. But very, very nice or whatever. And he said, yeah, well, I listened to, is it EDM? Like EDM music or whatever. He's like, I follow this guy on Instagram and he's playing in the city. And I'm like, awesome. Like, I don't listen to EDM, but I'm like, it's New Year's Eve. Fuck it. Like, oh, sorry.
No, you good.
Like, fuck it. Like, let's do it. So he's like, you want to come? I'm like, yes, I thought you'd never ask, And so whereas I was going to spend almost nothing because we get a discount at the hotel and I'd already brought a bottle of wine. I drink the bottle of wine before we go out. Between the Ubers downtown to the city, because we're not closed, and the drinks, it's like a $200-$300. I woke up feeling so guilty. Like, how am I going to tell my husband that I just spent $300 or $200, whatever it was, when we are so broke? Yeah. And that was, I just felt like shit. I just felt like the lowest of low. Like, what am I doing to myself? What am I doing to my family? And then, that was kind of the catalyst moment. And like the holidays had just gone by, right? So Christmas, and my older brother, I'm very close to him. He lives in New York and we hadn't seen him in a while. And that was another thing that really bothered me, is like, he came out and all I cared about was partying. Like, I couldn't wait for him to get here to party and drink. And so like Christmas Day, we started with mimosas and we're drinking all day. And it's like, I don't know. I just felt like the kids deserved a better mom. Like, here I was basically hungover and exhausted and wanting a nap at 3:00 in the afternoon on Christmas, irritable. Like, of course I am. I've been drinking all day, thinking that life was just a party all the time. And I just felt like I wasted my trip with my brother, and I regretted that a lot. So it was just all those little things just kind of finally came to a head. It's like, this isn't good.
That's powerful. Do you feel that any of that affected your family in any way? So I know you touched on a little bit with your children as far as like, man, I want a nap. And so are you saying like, I want a nap, babe, can you watch them? Or I want a nap, hey, go and do something real quick. Just let me go to sleep.
Leave me alone. No, I would say, I mean, I wasn't like, my husband and I were pretty good. And I wasn't at the point where, you know, everyone was surprised when I quit drinking. Everyone was like, well, we didn't think you had a problem, but if this is what you feel like you need to do, then, you know, we support you. So I was never at the point where everyone was going kind of behind my back, like, what are we going to do about Sara? We need to talk to Sara. We need to have an intervention. Or, I mean, nobody admitted if they had felt that way. I would think they would have said it. My mom's, you know, she's not shy. She would have said it immediately if she felt I had a problem.
Yeah.
So it was more of an internal thing. It wasn't like everyone was going, okay, you're not safe for the kids, or, you know, you're not taking care of your responsibilities. It wasn't anything like that. It was more of just, I want to be better for my kids. Like, they don't deserve a mom that, you know, it's not like I was drunk all the time around them, but I was hungover a lot.
Yeah.
Because, you know, most of the time I would start drinking once they went to bed. So it wasn't like they saw me drunk, but they did see me irritable the next day, you know, and wanting to do stuff and play. And I'm like, you know, yeah, the TV's on Saturday. Like, in my head, I'm like, just leave me alone. But, you know, I'm not saying that to them. But yeah, I'm sure they caught the vibe. And I didn't like that. I watched, like, right after I made this decision, I started following all these people on Instagram and, you know, all these sober living people, and that really encouraged me and stuff. And I saw a video, I think it was Josh, I want to say it was Josh Brolin. And he had said something like, I quit drinking because I wanted my kids to look at me and trust what they saw. And I realized all the times when you're like that happy drunk, when you're so happy and excited and playful, and your kids are looking at you and they're thinking, oh, mom's so fun and playful. But really it's because I was buzzed.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep.
It's like, oh, could they really trust that my happiness was because of them, or because I was buzzed?
That is powerful. It's crazy that you say that, because so I used to say I'm a social drinker. I think I said that just before we even started the show. I'm a social drinker. Don't even worry about it. Like, you know, it's not bad. It's not crazy. And then and I tell myself, I say, hey, I'm gonna just make sure that I don't drink when I'm by myself. And then I realized, so this actually happened around that time I met you too, that social drinking became like a daily drinking thing for me. Like, I'm like, if I'm out all the time, like if I'm barely by myself, then when am I actually not drinking by myself? And so at that time I was working a lot, right? We'll pick up a lot of trips, and I mean, we're drinking, but I'm like, I'm a social drinker. Yeah,
but you're social every day. Now you know you're a daily drinker.
I'm a daily. So it went from being a social drinker to hanging with people every day to now, you know, I'm an everyday drinker. And it was crazy. And I didn't realize that until later. And so like my story was, when I got into this industry, it was cool. I had a grip on it, you know. Then I started flying with other people. You'll go out all the time, and me, with or without alcohol, I'm outside, right? I'm going out, I'm exploring. I love just doing things I haven't done, hikes, whatever. But it seems that everyone else, when they go out, right, is connected with drinking. So I was like,
oh my gosh,
I'm a social drinker. This can't hurt. And it went from that to now me lying to my wife, you know, about, oh, no, I don't drink, you know, but alcohol's on your breath, right? If you come home to your spouse and you kiss your spouse or you lay with your spouse, like, they'll start to know. And I think it turned for us. We were out eating dinner, and a friend of mine who I saw, he comes in, and it was his birthday. And I was like, Rock, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up, Ced? And I was like, he goes, hey, bro, take a shot with me. And so at this point, she don't even know that I've started drinking. And she's looking at me like,
here we go.
And I was like, and so he's just there, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, it's cool. It's cool if I
take
a shot.
It's social.
I'm like, it's cool. I mean, you know, it's just a shot. And she was so confused. Like,
this isn't like who I've
it's
known.
not even about the amount of shots. I didn't even know that you're drinking again. I was clueless to that, and so it got to that point to where I was lying to her.
Had she kind of not really known what like work life was like at this point? Like,
she knew me, so
okay. So she expected like you're not getting crazy, or
yeah, she expected for me to have better like character, like I stood
Control.
on what I stood on, you know, and just how we was, you know, we met in the church, and so like when I became a Christian, like everything changed, like, you know, from the things that I used to do. Like I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you're like
I've done a lot
and everything.
And so that was she was used to that. Like, wait, what? Drinking? You don't drink. Like your identity.
Who are you? You're like, but don't you know I became a flight attendant?
Pretty much.
Do you know what they're like?
And so with that being said, it got to a point in my mind where I loved drinking so much that it's me or the highway. Like it's me at where I'm at or the highway.
I mean, you know, like obviously my TikTok handle is Ramblin' Reader. I have books for you. So like there's a reason why alcohol is addictive. I mean, this is something people, because it is so ingrained in not just like our country's culture, it's like the world. I mean, I was just talking to my husband about this last night. It's like you have an entire year of events, of holidays, of like, and it's all centered around drinking. It's a business. They have done this to us. I mean, I'm going to go on my soapbox, but like, it's all in the This Naked Mind by Annie Grace, and also Alcohol Lied to Me by Craig Beck. And it's like all about like, why are some people worse with alcohol? It's not just a matter of when, it's a matter, or if, it's a matter of when. Like we all are addicted in our own way. Some people have better control than others. Some circumstances, stress, like your family life. I mean, this is so ironic that today is St. Patrick's Day because I'm Irish, and Irish culture, St. Patrick's Day culture. I mean, next up is going to be Cinco de Mayo, and it's going to be spring break, and it's going to be Memorial Day, and then it's going to be 4th of July, and the entire summer, like come the holidays. I mean, is there ever a point we have a break where drinking is not the focal point? Like it's normalized, like it is, you know, and if you can't control it, you're looked at as less than, or like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. You can't control alcohol, but I can control it. So I'm going to keep partying, you know, forever, you know, whatever. And then it's like the mommy culture and the mommy wine culture or whatever. It's just like, there's constantly something to like drink and celebrate for. And, you know, you're not like, it's just this like a total mind fuck all the time. It's like, it's addicting. Yeah. That's why like all of a sudden it like changed like that, because like work, it became a bigger part of your life. And like all of a sudden it had changed, and your wife's going like, who is this person? But like it grabs you that fast. Yep. And I know in my career, it's gone up and down where I've had to slow down. I mean, the fact that we even like as a country, I don't know how big Dry January is, but we like have a designated month where we have to all collectively try to not drink. That's how addicting it is.
True. That's very true. And then it's crazy. So you brought up something again, addiction, right? Why do you feel that alcohol is so addicting? But you also mentioned escape. You said I need to escape this pain. I need to escape this. So my choice is alcohol. Can you talk to that? But then also, if it was nuggets from the book that you have mentioned, definitely elaborate.
I mean, it's the missing my words. I'm almost 40. That's why I'm blaming it on that. But it's what alcohol does to your brain, just like any drug. It when you don't, like, as soon as you start drinking, one thing you learn in This Naked Mind by Annie Grace is that it, like, as soon as you start drinking, your body's going through like withdrawal, which is, you know, we call it a hangover. Like, we normalize everything that happens with drinking in a way we don't do with other drugs. Like, going through withdrawal is like a bad, horrible drug word, but that's literally what a hangover is. It's your body like feeling the effects of not having the drug in your system, right? It's like changed your brain chemistry. I mean, your sleep cycle, like the first thing I noticed after a month of not drinking is my sleep had never been so good. I was still only getting, 5 or 6 hours a night because I'm an idiot that likes to stay up late and read books, but my kids still wake me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But the quality of those 5 to 6 hours was like light years different. I was feeling completely different. So, that's all in the books. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of lost my train of thought, but
what do you feel like is a great way for someone to overcome? Because me, in that experience, like it only grew worse.
Yeah.
Like I said, it got so bad. I told my wife, I said, you can choose me how I am now, or leave. And it got real bad because I felt like, so I connected my drinking with me having fun. And for a while, I couldn't shake it. So like, social drinker, that means I need to be in a social place. Like, if it's not necessarily the place that I want to be, it's the drink that I wanted. That's what I realized later. So like, if I'm a social drinker, I'll say, if I just happen to be out with somebody and they say, hey, let's get a drink, I'll do it because we're just happen to be out. But my problem was I was chasing the social just to get the drink now, and just so I can say I'm a social drinker.
Yeah, you're like using it as like this is how I like relax, or this is how I enjoy my night, and like, so the alcohol becomes a part of that. So then it becomes like you can't then relax or enjoy your night without the drink, and so you think it's the drink that's relaxing you, but it's not. And it's actually giving you more anxiety. It's giving you, I became a person that always had to have the drink in her hand. Like once I started, I did not stop till I was like, Cedric, it's time to go. Like, I need to go. That night in Hawaii, like, I just, and it was constant or whatever. But like it slowly builds into that, and then it becomes like, is it really just that you're addicted to having the alcohol, and it's not actually giving you any sort of stress relief or any sort of relaxation. And then, I just after that New Year's, I realized like I am just as fun of a person without it. I can still have as much fun. I can still go out in Hawaii and hang out with my crew, and like I don't begrudge anybody that wants to go have their glasses of wine or whiskey or beer or whatever. Like I am happy to be surrounded by people. I am addicted to the social aspect. I am addicted to the quality time that I have with people, and now I'm addicted to good sleep at the end of the night. And it's not I came to the realization that I can have those fun nights, and I'm still a fun person and can do all those things just without the alcohol. That was causing a stress on my finances and a stress on my weight and my health, and it was just going downhill. So, I guess I would just recommend, like, if anyone is trying to, or just having these thoughts, we call them sober curious in the world, when you're just starting to think about it being a problem or being maybe just not a positive anymore or as fun, reading the books and starting to follow the sober people on different social media and all that stuff. And like, though, it's out there. All that information is out there, and it's so worth it.
Have you ever been tempted though? Like, so you stop and be like, okay, I came to the realization that it's not good for me. I'm done. But then now with that strong mentality, you kind of go out. What was that like for you, being tempted of, because you said you were drinking since you were 18, right? Yeah.
Just me becoming a flight attendant had nothing to do with like, just, I was certainly drinking and doing worse before I got, serious and became a flight attendant. Maybe it's because I love the people I'm around. I'm so close to my family, and my friends are such good people. Like, I realize that like I enjoy them. Okay, here's a good example. So when you're having so much fun on the plane, like it's magic. You're jiving, like connecting with the people you're flying with so well. There's jokes, and you're having a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? There are those moments when it's like it's not work. You're having fun. I realize I'm sober during all those moments, and I am still having just as much fun with those people. on the plane that like once we take it to the hotel, I don't need to add the alcohol in order for me to still have those fun moments. Like the alcohol doesn't make me funnier. It doesn't make me like more lively. I am just as lively in front of a person. And I know that gets in our head. Like, I don't know, maybe for a flight attendant, we already kind of have that personality that we're comfortable around people in a way. And a lot of people don't have that, which, that's hard. But like, I just realized that I can still do all the things and have just as much fun without the alcohol that's like giving me sleep problems and making me feel like shit the next day. Yeah. Like, what is it really doing for me? It's not making me funnier. I'm just funny. I'm just as funny on the plane, on the jump seat. Like, I'm still like cracking up with my crew, so.
That's crazy. So look, this brought up a great point. If you don't have this answer, it's okay, because this is going right. Shout out to Base Podcast. This is going to go in there because this can be controversial in a sense, right? So you have a moment in life where you're not intoxicated, but you're having fun, right? Man, this is extremely fun. I can do this without alcohol. But then sometimes as flight attendants, you leave, right? You're in the hotel and things like that. Why do you think people will then drink, right? So let's say if I know that I can have fun without alcohol, why do you think people still would choose to drink to quote unquote have fun? Do you think that there's secret, like intentions behind it, or like?
Oh, this is so funny because it's such a simple. I think it's such a simple. People don't know how to ask questions about people. They feel so awkward. They have to use alcohol as like the great connector of life. Like, tell some stupid story about when I drank like 2 weekends ago and this happened or that happened. It's like I'm a huge dork. My like, I don't know, like you have to think of it like an icebreaker at like a conference with like for work that people have. We don't do those kinds of things, so I don't understand it. But it's like an icebreaker. It's like just fucking ask a question about somebody. Just be like, so what are your hobbies? So what do you like to? Mine is, of course, do you like to read? What do you like to read? Yeah. What kind of books do you like to read? I like fantasy. Do you ever read like Lord of the Rings or like Game of Thrones? It honestly, so no, I don't, but my wife likes to read. And then I'm like, oh wait, you're a pilot. I bet you like World War II, right? Yeah. Like you guys only ever read World War II books. But it just starts into this thing. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, it's not just like, oh, do you have kids? Where are you from? Where are you based? It's like, what are your kids into? Yeah. Like, are they into sports? What do they want to be when they grow up? Yeah. It's just asking questions. And that's what starts a great conversation. Because everybody can relate to... The other day I asked, okay, when I say orange slices, what does it make you think of? When I just say orange slice, like what's the first thing that comes up? Cedric, I'm asking you, like when I say orange slices, what do you think of? I thought it was a very obvious answer.
Like cut up orange pieces?
Yeah, like cut up orange, like an orange cut in the side. Little League. I grew up in the 90s, and every snack that like my brothers would get, that whatever parent was in charge of snacks that day, would be orange slices. Yeah. I thought that was like a universal thing. It's not. But my point was like, I'm so glad. And I'm talking to the pilots and they're laughing like, what are you talking about? But we're all laughing. Yeah. And I'm like, like when you stick your hand in the sticky ass bag of orange slices and it's so gross, and I'm so thankful that as a mom now I don't have to cut fucking like 20 oranges and have this sticky nasty bag of orange, because that's how I grew up. And it's like, that's a random it's just a random thing, but it was making us laugh. It was making us talk about like, what kind of snacks did you have when you did sports when you were a kid? And like
that's crazy, because I've learned too in this book where it helps you to like not focus on yourself. Just talk about encourage or motivate the other person to talk about themselves. Yeah. In a way to where like they go to this place of like, wow, I love. So my kid actually, I went to the game and then we went and did, just kind of stuff like that, and that's huge. But are you saying people would drink to then try to feel comfortable,
to ask something, to talk about things, or like to have that to be the thing that they talk about? It's like getting fucked up is the topic of conversation. When like you're sober, like this isn't that much fun to talk about just getting fucked up all the time. So if I wanted to go out with coworkers and still have fun. I just had to figure out, like, how do you converse with people when you're not wasted and being silly? And so then I just started being like, maybe just ask questions about people's lives. Or like, but that's interesting to me. I don't know. Maybe not everybody's interested in that kind of stuff, but I feel like the art of like having a real conversation with strangers is, I don't know if it's lost or it's a hard thing. It's a skill you have to like work at.
Yeah. That's very interesting too, to hear that point of it. And you guys have an answer to that as well. But my thought too is mainly like, some people might have other intentions. Like because I was drunk, I did this, right? Because I was drunk, I made a move on this person. Because I was, like, so their intentions purposely to be like, hey, let's
to get somebody loose and like, yeah, oh, I'm sure.
Then act silly and do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of blame it on the liquor and stuff too. But that's to be continued.
There's so much we could talk about.
That's to be continued.
I have a lot to talk about with that, I can say.
But so for the people watching, for the people listening, what advice can you give to them who might be struggling right now with alcohol, or who have stopped but is tempted with going back to drinking because of their environment that they're in?
You don't need it. You don't need it to be you. You don't need it to enjoy your life and the people in your life. But for me, obviously, like, you don't have to get connected. Like, I didn't want to go to AA. Like, that just didn't seem like the right path for me. I didn't go into it feeling like I'm this great big alcoholic. And I don't know. Anyway, that wasn't my path, but I just read some books from sober people. So The Naked Mind by Annie Grace, Alcohol Lied to Me by Craig Beck, and what's that one that I was just reading? Oh, Quit Like a Woman by Holly Whitaker. Those are really awesome. Podcasts, Instagram, just literally typing in sober into TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Anything that could just give me a meme to get through the day, or another mom that finally had to like stop the train of wine and say, like, maybe this cute little wine culture thing that we're all sold on isn't actually making my life as a mom better. So just finding those people. And then if you're in the Bay Area, well, it's actually a worldwide organization, but it's kind of like in lieu of, being able to go to like an AA meeting or something, there's this thing called She Recovers for women. I found it through a therapist, actually, and it's like an online thing you can do. It's all Zoom videos, so you just do it at home when you're at home or on the road. For us, like flight attendants in the hotel, I would do it. So they have like a daily morning meeting worldwide. I mean, there would be people in there from England, from France, like from New York, and so it's like, I don't know, an hour or two in the morning, so you can just clue into that. And then there's local ones that you can do. So I'm part of the She Recovers Bay Area.
Okay.
And it's like a Facebook group. And so they have a Zoom meeting on Sundays, and I haven't been able to, I'm still connected with them and check in on Facebook every once in a while, but I haven't been able to do a Zoom in forever. But I'm still sober if any of you guys are listening or watching.
That is awesome. Yeah. That's big, man. That's really big. I'm proud of you, Sarah, for sure. Just for overcoming that, and because you wanted to, what I'm saying? Like, because you wanted to be better, you wanted to be a better mom. I had to check
myself.
Yeah,
you should do.
And
check
that's
yourself.
Hard. Yeah. When it comes to self, it's hard to fully and truthfully examine yourself, right? Because who gets in the way when you examine yourself? Us. I don't really do that. It's not that bad.
And it's so normal. You don't want to be the one that can't control their drinking. Yeah. Like, the second you tell people that you gave up drinking, you just don't. It's not good for your life anymore, they instantly think, oh, you're an alcoholic, that like if you put one drop of alcohol in, they're going to be dancing naked on the table. It's like they can't control themselves. Like, that's not true.
Yeah, very much so. But thank you again for coming on Ced Talk Podcast. It was a great pleasure. Awesome. This was definitely fun for sure. For you guys, definitely tune in. Okay, this is Ced Talk Podcast, baby, and we are out.